season for you, Matthew? Like the weight of numbers and the spread of goal kickers, contributors everywhere. It must be pretty rapid that.
Yeah, good result. We're healthy. We came through unscathed, which is probably the first spot you go as a coach. A little bit selfish of me, but that's what we look at. Make sure our boys are okay. But from what we'd focused on right throughout this pre-season, we were locked in on round one. So for us to come out and perform the way we did, I thought it was really balanced. Our start, there's always a danger when you go in favourite to a game. I know our opposition had a number of injuries today and it's challenged them. But there's a danger with that. I thought our guys came in and bought the fight that we were after. We were challenged in that second quarter and we had to grind for a bit there where they came at us, but that shows even more maturity. So that was even more pleasing. We don't want to spend too much time back in our back 50, but we did at the start of that second. So, yeah, a pleasing day for us.
For the new guys to all have an impact, kick goals, or the three, recruits that come in, kick goals. I mean, that's probably kind of cherry on top in a way.
Yeah, you make your own luck a bit too. We had a little run there for a period where I think, as you mentioned, the three new guys coming in, knocked one through, and then the captain came in off the back of that. So we had some real momentum at that point, and that's something that we do value, making the most of your opportunities when the run's on, and that seems to be where our game's at the moment. You can get a bit of momentum. We made the most of that. There were periods in the game where I thought it was a reasonably vanilla battle where we were sort of going at it. But we took our chances when we had them.
Ross spoke about the pressure that you guys applied, which sort of forced them into second-guessing their style and causing mistakes. I think you spoke the other day about being more assertive. You must have ticked that box today.
Yeah, especially early. We were able to come down at quarter time and have a conversation around that first quarter, and it was what we'd worked on right throughout. So to our players' credit, they brought what it was we'd worked on. I'm glad the opposition noticed it because it's an area last year that we, for different reasons, didn't have to the level we needed. Challenge now is for us to do it week after week, but it's a great start.
I want to see the difference in that is having like a guy like Riley Kilsthorpe up there, with the way he's at the moment, you have him flogging text, those three kind of tools there. You must feel like you've got a real weapon in it and in your forward line once again.
Yeah, Riley's a part of that. So when you talk about pressure, if our forwards, our keys or our tools are able to consistently give us a contest in the air, the worst case scenario, that ball hits the deck. And the Saints have some, elite defenders. Wilkie's one of the best in the comp at intercept marking the ball, but when Riley's competing and Tex and Fogg, as you mentioned, Dan Curtin, they're getting at it in the air and bringing it to ground, it brings our smalls in. So we can bring that pressure. I thought that was the key today. There weren't many where, we look back. It wasn't a game where we look back and say, geez, we kicked the ball with the oppo a lot. I thought our guys fought ahead of the ball really well today.
Just to see what Josh Rachele did, I think he did like 12 score involvement or something like that. His third highest rating game. I mean, we all had some talk about it and all that to see. I know you spoke about it on the pre-season as well, but for him to come out and do that for round one, you must be really happy with it.
Really pleased for Josh. I mean, again, he's a beneficiary of what others are doing. When we're competing and we're bringing that ball down and giving Josh a chance to do what he does best, which is, as you mentioned, it wasn't about goals today. It was about assists and being in the right spot at the right time and sharing the ball. Alex Neil-Bullen doing exactly the same thing, and Ben Keys. And so those guys are working so well together at the moment. But for Josh today, I thought, as you mentioned, I thought he stood out, especially in that first half.
Did you do the team stuff that you've been looking for? Did you notice a real improvement in that?
Yeah, well, there was probably not an area I was worried about today when it came to what he's been working on. But I think the guys will work off each other with that. When one player, it's contagious, that sort of team. I thought we celebrated a lot of, really small things today. We were in everything. We were, a spoil or a knock out of bounds or even a tackle made. I thought our group were up and about. And again, that's what we've been working on throughout the break. So can we stay in that space is the challenge.
To be really big on, not looking past round one, not getting, and now,
we have to now, yeah.
You've done so well, played so well, it's only going to, fuel the hope and excitement around fans. Have you kind of keep that in check in a way, or keep how do you approach it all now?
Yeah. Well, we had 43,000 here today. I mean, it was an awesome atmosphere. For round one, we won't have 43,000 there for us next week. We are at MCG in 6 days, and against a really high quality opposition. I thought the hit out we watched of Essendon was high level. But we've now got a switch. We've got to quickly click into round two, and that's one of the hardest things to do in the game is just knuckle down, get yourselves right. I mentioned that we're healthy. So hopefully we can take over a list that are ready to go, or a squad. And the big challenge is doing it on an even bigger ground at the MCG.
What have you learned from last year that's going to help you click into round two rather than, maybe get swept up by, such a dominant performance?
We were able to do it right throughout pre-season to stay focused on today. I'm confident our guys are maturing. I think, organically we're growing as a group. We added this year some really high-level acquisitions. We brought in a young kid today, City Draper, from the draft, who showed that he has a lot of potential to be, a really strong player in this league. So, with those, you've got to be confident in your group. I'll back the group in, but our challenge is to prove it in, week out.
Good base to work from. They must be confident. Even the Saints obviously have their challenges coming across here. You mentioned the challenge of being consistent, doing it week after week. It's a confident base to build from.
It is. It's a great spot to start. Yeah. And so we're 1-0. And we've got plenty of games still to come that we want to have the same performance. But I think we've seen over time it's not easy to do. So, but that's our goal. Knuckle down and get ourselves ready to go.
Steve, how do you kind of approach that on every? Because I know some people say they don't like the debut being the sub, kind of, that kind of thing. How do you kind of look at that internally? Yeah, how do you kind of approach that?
Oh, yeah, it's a tough one, and we've thought about it over the years on what do we do here. Today we just felt the day shaped perfectly for it to play out today. Now in the end, you ride a little bit of risk in that. That we might be forced to maybe do it earlier, or it might be the game's in a position where we're not going to make that call until really late, or we might not make it at all. Ultimately, we're here to win as a team. We're not here for individuals. We're here to do it as a team. I mean, Pendlebury, I believe, was sub, and so if you're going to go down that path, I don't think it's something to worry about. I think Sid had a fantastic impact on the game today in the role that he was playing. We were able to. We had a number of different plans in place that we knew would change depending on the game, and in the end we got to work with Tex around how a 6-day break looks. So hopefully he pulls up well and we're able to go in again with him next week. But your plans are all great until you get punched in the mouth and then you've got to change. Today worked out well for us, so we'll take some of that luck.
Who's on that centre bouncers? You haven't often seen that with I guess young players at the Crows at times, especially in their first game, going straight into the midfield, straight at centre bouncers. I guess was that something you wanted to just see how it kind of goes at an AFL level? I think his weapons, the centre bounce stuff. So we were really keen to get him on ball. I think that's where you're going to see some of his best footy over time. But I mean, who knows where he develops and what player he ends up becoming. But I think it was a really positive step for our footy club and a really positive step for him today. To see what he brings. I think even, with that, you mentioned centre bounce, and we haven't talked about him yet, but I thought O'Brien was massive, Riley O'Brien today. His ruck work. And again, talk about players making other players better. Rob started us off in there. Rob makes Matty Crouch better. Matty Crouch is able to work with Jake Saligo, and, that ability for us to have flexibility. We're healthy, but for guys to complement each other's games, I thought it started today with Riley O'Brien. Well, I mean, that'd be nice. Yeah. Again, how do we back up? How do we go again? And we'll have different challenges from week to week. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.